The verminologist's confession. They say you can't run from your past, but I've tried. The night I stood in front of my family's old, creaking house felt like stepping into a grave I dug myself. I could still hear the echoes of their laughter, the way they'd mocked my obsession with paranormal verminology. "You'll lose your mind," my brother Mark had sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. "You'll disgrace us all." But I didn't disgrace them. I became something far worse, a warning. Years ago, I had been a dedicated verminologist, passionate about my field, until a cruel betrayal shattered my world. Accused of falsifying evidence in a rat infestation that had led to a child's mysterious death, I was fired and ostracized. The whispers of pest paranoia followed me like a shadow, while the real horror lay buried in the truths I had uncovered. Swarms of vermin with origins that defied logic. Infestations that fed on memory and identity. I was a pariah, yes, but I was also a seeker of truths buried beneath layers of disbelief. I returned to my childhood home, my heart heavy with dread and anticipation. The house loomed before me, a weathered specter of my past, its windows dark and hollow. I had gained recognition since I left, my name whispered in hushed circles among those who had come to understand the hidden horrors of this world. But all of that meant nothing in the face of my family's scorn. As I stepped inside, the air felt thick, suffocating. My parents were gathered in the living room, their expressions a cocktail of shock and disbelief. "What are you doing here?" my mother asked, her voice trembling. "We thought you were gone." "Gone," I repeated, bitterness seeping into my words. "You thought I was insane. You thought my work was a disgrace. But I've seen things you can't even begin to imagine." Mark's laughter rang out again, sharp and cutting. "You think you're some kind of expert now? You think we'll believe your stories?" I took a breath, steadying myself. "You will believe me. You'll have to." I pulled from my bag a small glass vial filled with a milky substance, the remnants of a phenomenon I'd studied for years. "This," I said, holding it up, "is a sample of the essence left behind by a rat infestation that feeds on memory. It leaves people hollow, stripped of their identities." "Let's see it then," Mark scoffed. "What's it going to do? Turn us into rats?" "You'll understand soon enough," I murmured, my heart pounding in my chest. I could feel the darkness creeping closer, the memories I had unearthed clawing their way to the surface. Suddenly, the walls of the house seemed to shudder, a low hum resonating through the air, as if the very foundation of our family home was protesting the truths I was about to unleash. I poured the essence onto the floor, and the moment it hit the wood, the shadows deepened. In an instant, the room warped and twisted, the air thickening like fog. I watched as my family's faces morphed, eyes wide with terror as they began to see what I had seen, the vermin that had become more than mere pests. Shadows slithered from the corners, creeping around their feet, whispering secrets that had long been buried. "Mom? Dad?" I called out, my voice barely above a whisper. "Look at what you've mocked. Look at what I faced." The shadows coalesced, forming grotesque shapes that echoed the fears and traumas my family had buried. Memories of their failures, their hidden anxieties, all feeding the darkness that I had once tried to warn them about. The infestation I had studied was no longer a distant horror. It had come home. My mother screamed, a sound that pierced the air like glass shattering. "What have you done?" She cried, backing away, but the shadows wrapped around her, pulling her into their depths. Mark's bravado faltered, his laughter dying in his throat, as he stumbled backward, falling to the ground. "No, this isn't real." "But it is," I said, my voice steady now, even as the memories of my own torment surged within me. "This is the cost of disbelief. You chose to mock me rather than listen. As the shadows swallowed my family, I felt a strange sense of recognition wash over me. This was the culmination of my work, the proof I had sought, dark knowledge that came at a price. I had uncovered truths that would haunt them forever, truths that had become my own crown of horrors. When the shadows receded, I stood alone in the living room, the echoes of their screams still ringing in my ears. The essence on,